s'mores. I really like s'mores, but they aren't the healthiest thing for you. So, what if you took healthy ish recipes and made them taste like s'mores? So, you're still getting the flavor of the s'more, but the healthier foods. So, here's my full day of eating only s'more flavored recipes. So, first off, breakfast. I'm making a s'more oat Pop Tart. I got the idea for this recipe from Flexible Dieting Lifestyle, who actually makes a lot of these oat Pop Tarts, but he didn't have a s'mores flavor, so I did that part myself. So, first off, add 600 milliliters of water to a pot and half a teaspoon of salt, and then bring that water to a boil. And then, once the water has reached a boil, add 80 grams of rolled oats and give it a little stir, and then reduce the heat and let it simmer. And then in a bowl, add 32 grams of chocolate whey protein powder, 4 grams or more or less of a 0-calorie sweetener, 10 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder, 10 grams of chocolate fat-free sugar-free pudding mix, and optionally half a teaspoon or 3 grams of Xantax gum. And now for the filling. In a small bowl, add 56 grams or 2 ounces of fat-free cream cheese, 2 grams of vanilla extract, 1 gram of a 0-calorie sweetener, and this part's important. Get 1 marshmallow and toast it, or more like burn it. You can do this under the broiler in your oven, but I used my stovetop because I think it's easier. And then add that to your mixture and mix it up until it's a smooth consistency. And once you've done that, add it to the fridge and let it rest. And for the topping, add 1 graham cracker square to a bag and try and take most of the air out, and then start pressing it down with your fingers, or you could hit it with a spoon. Just make sure to try and turn it into crumbs, and there you go. Back to the oats. Add your dry ingredients to a sifter and sift it in. You don't have to do this step, you could just dump it in, but I prefer to do this because the unsweetened cocoa powder, it can sometimes clump up, and if you don't mix your oats well enough, you can sometimes find those clumps. So, I don't know about you, but I don't 100% like the taste of unsweetened cocoa powder. So do this in about 3 and 4 sifts and mixes, and once you get to just unsweetened cocoa powder clumps, take a spoon or a fork and break them up, and finish sifting and then make sure it's mixed in well. Then, once your oats are done, get a plating dish, preferably rectangular. I have this Tupperware container that I think works really well, and then pour a little bit over half of your oats into the container and spread it out evenly all the way to the edges. And then take your filling and put it on the oats and spread that out, not all the way to the edges, maybe about 3/4 of an inch to half of an inch. And then pour the rest of your oats on top of that and spread that out so it's covering the filling. And then get your graham cracker crumbs and sprinkle them on. So the calories in this meal are around 610, and there are 42 grams of protein. So here it is. And don't even think about telling me how this does not look like the actual s'mores Pop Tart. I think it tastes pretty good for being made mostly out of oats. So I think I'm gonna enjoy this, and next meal is lunch. So for lunch, I'm gonna be making s'more muffins, kind of like a chocolate muffin with a toasted marshmallow glaze. This recipe does require oat flour, and if you don't have oat flour, you can do what I did. I took 62 grams of oats and put it into a blender and, well, blended it. And if you don't want to sift your cocoa powder, then you can also add 10 grams of it into the blender after the oats become roughly powderized. And then add that into a bowl along with 4 grams of 0-calorie sweetener, 5 grams of baking powder, 15 grams of coconut flour, and 11 grams of chocolate whey protein powder. You can add more if you want. I just think I don't need that much protein. And then mix it well to get those ingredients combined. And then for the wet ingredients, add 2 whole eggs, 2 grams of vanilla extract, and 120 grams of skim milk. And then mix it again together well. And I thought the mixture could have been a little bit more loose, so I chose to add another 60 grams of milk. And after you're done mixing your ingredients well, get a cupcake sheet and start putting in cupcake wrappers. I was able to get 9 cupcakes, but it might be different for you depending on how much you fill them up. Then spray them with nonstick and start pouring in the batter. I didn't pour it in because of the bowl I was using, so I ended up using a ladle, which actually worked really well. And optionally, if you have the 0-calorie Walden Farms marshmallow cream, you can put a little dollop of it in one of the cupcakes, and I think it makes it taste really good, which they do taste good, but I think it makes it taste even better. And then when you're done with that, put them in a preheated oven at 750 degrees for around 22 minutes. And while those are in the oven, we can start the icing. So in a small bowl, add 25 grams of Greek yogurt, 1 gram of 0-calorie sweetener, and get a marshmallow and do the same thing that was done with it in the last recipe. But this time, show the fire to the camera because you think it looks cool and accidentally drop it. Then pick up the hot marshmallow and realize that part of the stick is still in it, and try and pull it out with your fingers. And then burn yourself, but eventually getting the marshmallow in the bowl. And I didn't add this part on camera, but also add 4 grams of vanilla extract to the bowl, and give it a good mix and put it in the fridge and let it rest. And after 22 minutes has passed, impale one of them with a stick, and if they're done, transfer them to a plate and put them in the freezer, or maybe the fridge, or just leave them out. Basically let them cool so the icing just doesn't melt right off. And once they have cooled, start to ice them. The calories in all 9 of these cupcakes with the icing on top is around 620, and they contain 42 grams of protein. Alright, so here they are, the s'more muffins, or I think since it's not morning cupcakes, I did not do the best job at frosting these, but I think they turned out pretty good. So the next meal is around, I think, 4 o'clock. So like lunch, dinner, dinner. Uh, yeah. And for the final meal, I'm going to be making s'more puffs. I actually accidentally created this recipe while trying to make a different recipe, even though the recipes aren't really that alike. It just happened. So, in a blender, add 1 cup or 240 grams of skim milk, 2 whole eggs, 10 grams of cocoa powder, 3 grams of salt, 5 grams of a 0-calorie sweetener, 5 grams of baking powder, 9 grams of Xantax gum, and 4 pieces of bread. Then blend that up for a bit and then scrape down the walls and the lid and blend it some more until it is very thick and well combined. Then transfer the batter to a container, or don't, your choice, and get an ice cream scooper or watermelon scooper and start scooping the batter onto a baking sheet that was sprayed with nonstick. Try spacing them out a bit. I think I should not have tried to fit them all onto one sheet. My batter is a little bit more loose because I used 5 grams of Xantax gum. The thing on the back said a tablespoon, 9 grams. It wasn't. Then, after you're done getting the batter on the sheet, get 20 grams of mini marshmallows in 1 graham cracker square and put them on how you'd like. I was able to have 1 marshmallow for each one and 1 with 2, but it might be different for you. Then, put them in a preheated oven at 375 degrees for 25 minutes, but the time might be different for you depending on the size of your puffs. Then, once they're cooked, remove them from the sheet and enjoy. The calories in this meal with the marshmallows and graham crackers on top was around 625 with 32 grams of protein. So here they are, the s'more puffs. This will actually be my last meal of the day. I think just stuff happened, so I ended up making these later in the day. But I think these look pretty good. If you want them more crunchy, put them in for longer. If you want them more soft, put them in for less. But I think that is going to do it for now. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you have any s'more flavored recipes, I think I would like to try them. So let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.